A very good morning, it's Fabio here. Hope you had an amazing day yesterday. Today we're going to be analyzing euro dollar and of course the major dollar pairs plus gold. But before we dive into those pairs, today at 2:15 Central Eastern Time, so CET, we have the New York live stream. It's going to be on this YouTube channel. We're going to be streaming for the red folder news that we have on the dollar. We have quite a lot of news, as you can see here, at 2:30, so we'll be going live at 2:15 with CPI and unemployment claims. Next to that, if you want access to every single trade that I take, plus my entire mechanical trading blueprint, which I explain every single day pretty much in this video, but then in the form of a course, then make sure to check out the link in the description down below. Now, without further ado, let's just dive in. So euro dollar itself has reached that area of 4-hour demand, which we have been looking out for the entire week. We can very clearly see that we have now popped into that area of demand and below this overall swing low over here. So what I'm now looking for on EURUSD is a potential pullback in towards the upside. Now, obviously, guys, we have CPI and we have unemployment claims, so we have a lot of heavy red folder news here on euro dollar. So what I am looking for today is to see, can we get that reversal? Because obviously with news, anything can happen. We could just dump in towards the downside and disregard this entire area of demand. But obviously, after such a massive overextended move here on EURUSD, it would not be bad to get a nice pullback in towards the upside. So when are we going to be looking for that potential pullback in towards the upside? Well, if we see a change in the overall fractal structure. So that is a break of this red line over here. This red line over here broke this fractal low. So if you look at the trend on individual candlesticks, you very clearly see this is going on. So what I'm now looking for is a trend shift up, and then obviously, some upside continuation to start pushing and pulling back in towards the highs after this massive dump in towards the downside on euro dollar. So that is all I'm looking for today. Obviously, very slow markets due to the expectation or anticipation of the red folder news. So for the rest, nothing much here on euro dollar. That is all I am looking for. Potential longs on the cards, but for the short, I am not really interested. I'll only be focusing on, let's say, if we go in towards the daily, this area of daily demand. As if, let's say, the dollar news that comes out is strong, then we should see a dump lower. And then obviously there are two levels. Either we are going to be reacting and engaging, in my opinion, with this swing low over here at, what is it, 1.00 or 1.08804 approximately, or this area of demand. So then I will be looking for a pullback from either here or from here. Okay, and then we just look for trend shifts inside there. So I am looking for longs. I'm not really interested in shorting so deep in the leg. Obviously, we have broken this area of demand. So what should happen now is, okay, last resort of, let's say, pullback potential from this area over here. So this, in between these two lines, that is your area of demand, or obviously this swing low or this area of demand over there. So I'm happy to long from those three areas within the market. But before we do that, I need to see a market structure shift. So let's see if we get that. Now, going into the dollar index itself, the dollar index has pushed up higher. As you can see, the drawing from yesterday is still active, as we respected the overall fractal low. Remember what I explained yesterday, this demand zone playing out and then this becoming your fractal low for now, this becoming your fractal high. So the dollar is still bullish. Going in towards the daily, this is the biggest problem that people have, guys. They see we have a daily area of supply, and then they go in towards the 4-hour time frame and they say, ooh, we're in supply. So now after this massive overextended move, I expect a downside push. They then sell on these bearish candles and then just get absolutely screwed. But that's because they don't wait for the market structure to shift. So at the moment, what I am looking for is a break of this area of demand over here. If this demand zone breaks, then we have potential shorts on our hands only then. Otherwise, we could just continue up higher from here. So keep that in mind. Obviously, if we do push up higher with the red folder news here on the dollar, then I will be looking at this area of supply next and this liquidity high. Okay, so those are my next targets for the dollar index if we break. Because for now, this demand zone here, this imbalance on the daily, this could be the daily imbalance which takes at this daily area of supply. Okay, guys, so just keep that in mind. So we will only start seeing a pullback if we start breaking this daily fractal low over here, okay, of this doji candle. Going into AUDUSD, which is next. So AUDUSD came in towards this daily area of demand, and then obviously you want to start looking for a pullback trade in towards the highs in line with the daily trend, but also then in line with what should happen after a 4-hour pullback. Or after a 4-hour break of structure. So what we saw here was 4-hour BOS. So in a trend, what do you expect? Every single time you break structure, what do you expect? You expect a pullback to happen, right? So when does that pullback happen? It happens either at strong areas of liquidity or strong areas of demand. But then we need confirmation that demand or liquidity is actually going to do something. So what I'm now looking at here is just seeing, okay, this area of supply, which we mentioned in yesterday's video, either we break the fractal high and then we look for longs, or we just short from it. So this is actually drawn in yesterday, and then as you can very clearly see, we just respect the fractal high. This supply zone plays out, pushes the market down lower. So what has now happened is that we have seen another fractal low break. Okay, so we break the fractal low over here. What does this mean? It means that your fractal high is now the high of this imbalanced candle over here. So this pretty much still stands, and this line still stands as well. As long as that fractal high is respected, the market again should just simply push down lower. So this is now your supply chain. Okay, so we're now still inside this area of supply. I know it's not the best because you only wick underneath it, so it does indicate to me that it's getting a little bit weaker, but I would only look for a potential long if we start breaking this high over here. So keep your eyes out. If we start breaking these highs, you could start looking for longs on whatever pair that there is, because NZDUSD is pretty much the exact same. I'm not drawing in any 4-hour demand just because the daily demand zone is so much cleaner, and there's no real clean area of 4-hour demand in my opinion. Obviously we kind of have like these wicks over here, but nothing really clean that I just like drawing in. So I just focus on the daily, and now from inside this daily demand zone and this liquidity low over here, I just focus on what the 4-hour market structure is going to do next. Going into GBPUSD, GBPUSD is extremely slow already since, since Monday. Obviously, it's just waiting for the news to happen. It has now grabbed liquidity underneath this low. So let's keep our eyes open for a potential reversal. When are we going to be looking for a long? Well, now the 4-hour fractal high has shifted because we broke this red line low. So this now to me means that your fractal high, again, if we look at individual candlesticks, the fractal high is now the high of this candle over here. So this is now your 4-hour high. So if we break this 4-hour high, then I will be interested in a potential long. As long as that 4-hour high is respected, the overall order flow is still bearish and we should continue down lower. Obviously, we have now pulled in towards this refined area of demand, so longs are good or have good potential, but we need just confirmation of market structure shift, and I'll be happy to trade this up higher, back up in towards this area of fake supply. Okay, so that is GBPUSD. If we do push down lower, obviously, which could also happen if we don't see the market structure shift or just purely a liquidity grab, then I will either be looking at trading the liquidity low over here, this swing low. So this is a major swing low. So if we kind of pop below it, that could cause a reversal. Otherwise, if you see like a strong candle close underneath it, then just wait for it to sell off and follow the order flow in towards this area of demand next. And we have a lot more room to fall, approximately another 130 pips. Going in towards NZDUSD, what are we looking for there? So NZDUSD is inside this demand zone. So obviously this is what I refer to with GBPUSD. Like you have this swing low, but you see, don't just immediately go long on any bullish candles that you see at the swing low. Wait for confirmation, because here you can just see we just kept on crashing in towards this demand zone. So now we're inside daily demand. We have now seen a daily BOS. So this for me is a daily BOS. What do you expect after daily BOS? You expect a pullback. So we're now inside daily demand and we should start seeing a pullback. However, as you can see again, yesterday's lines played out pretty well in the sense that no break of this high, so therefore no long. And what happened, you can see we wicked in to that supply zone with perfection, and from there we sold off in towards the downside. So now what I'm looking at again was this demand zone, but then again inside this demand zone, what do you see? Because a lot of people, again, I already know what's going to see on the 1 hour. Here you see this bullish candle, so a lot of people again go long on this bullish candle, but with the stops where underneath the low over here. But this is again is not very smart, because if you look at the 1 hour structure and you look at the 15-minute, or excuse me, at the 1 hour and the 4 hour, you can see like supply is just holding over here. So supply just pushed the market down lower off of this 1 hour imbalance over here. And if you go in towards the 4 hour time frame, you can very clearly also see that the fractal structure just always remained bearish. So at the moment, the fractal high is the high of this candle over here. All right. And this is your supply zone, this buy up before the sell. Let's just draw it in like this buy up before the sell down. So that's now your supply zone. But on the 4 hour, excuse me, you can already see that we tapped in. Sorry, I'm making one little mistake, because here you can see where we tapped in. Then what happens? We push down lower. We see a pullback. We see another push down. So now your fractal high is actually the high of this candle over here. So this is your old fractal high. This is now your current fractal high. Why is that the fractal high? It's because it broke this fractal low over here. So to me, this is now the supply zone that is in control. So either we sell down from this supply zone and the order flow stays intact, or we see something like this, where we break through the order flow. So we break this supply zone and then we start looking for those longs. Otherwise, it could just keep on selling off. Okay, so that is the game plan, as easy as that. You are still good to look for shorts, but shorts are just much lower probability. That's all you need to understand, because you're going to be selling inside supply. Okay, so or excuse me, you're going to be selling very deep in a leg, and how deeper in the leg you are, the lower the probability, right? Selling from, for example, over here makes much more sense, because you still have this liquidity low open, and for example 4-hour demand still, and you still haven't hit daily demand, which is this level over here. Now you're inside daily demand, you have taken out that swing low. You've also seen a daily BOS, after which you expect a pullback. So obviously it would make more sense to start pulling back from here, but then again, let's just wait for CPI news and for unemployment numbers. But yeah, if it does push down lower, just follow the overall order flow. So you could look, for example, on NZDUSD to buy if we start breaking above the high, and just to sell if you see continuation on the lower time frame. Going in towards gold, last of all, gold has sold off again in towards the downside, just slightly. It is also waiting for the numbers. I would preferably only look for a long. I'm just going to keep it to the higher time frame. Only look for a long inside this area of demand over here. Remember what I mentioned in yesterday's video, 2600. We came all the way into 2604, but I would prefer just 2600 to look for those longs. That's what I'm looking for on gold. For the rest, no real interest. Overall momentum is still in towards the downside. So that's it for today, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Wish you all a fantastic trading day, and I'll see you in the live at 2:15. Thanks.